Sometimes you bring something up calmly, something that mattered to you, something you've been trying to explain clearly. At first, it feels like a normal conversation, but as you begin to explain your point, they respond in a way that feels slightly off. They repeat what you said, but it doesn't sound quite right. It's close, but not accurate, and you feel the need to correct it. You may recognize the moment when what you said starts to sound different in the conversation, and you may notice yourself trying to explain it again, more clearly this time. But even then, it still doesn't seem to land the way you meant it, and that's usually the moment something starts to feel off. Over time, this can start to feel mentally tiring, and it can leave you wondering why you keep having to explain yourself. What often happens here is a subtle shift in how your words are presented. Instead of responding to what you actually said, they respond to a slightly altered version of it, a version that is easier to question or easier to push back against. So the conversation slowly moves away from your original point and toward correcting how your words are being understood. For them, this can become useful, because if your words are adjusted just enough, the focus shifts from the concern you raised to how you said it. And that can make the original issue harder to stay with. What this often does is change the direction of the conversation. Instead of staying with what you were trying to explain, the conversation moves toward correcting how your words are being understood. This can create space where your original point doesn't get fully addressed. Over time, this can become a way to stay in control of the conversation, not by stopping it directly, but by slowly changing what it's about. And when the meaning of your words keeps shifting, it can become easier to question or push back against what you said, without fully engaging with it. This can reduce the need to respond directly to the concern, because the conversation is no longer centered on it, and when the focus keeps shifting like this, it can become harder to stay grounded in your original concern. If this happens repeatedly, the conversation may feel like it never fully lands, even though you're trying to stay clear. Some people who study relational behavior sometimes describe this as a narcissistic communication pattern when it happens repeatedly, where the interaction begins to center around controlling the meaning of what was said rather than understanding it. If this happens once, it may be a misunderstanding, but when it repeats, a pattern can form. In healthy conversations, people check for understanding. They try to reflect back what was actually meant before responding to it. Many people respond by trying harder when this happens, explaining more, clarifying more, trying to say it the right way. If this feels familiar, there's usually a reason for that. Recognizing this can bring clarity, because it helps explain why conversations feel like they keep shifting, even when you're trying to stay clear. And it can help you see that what you're noticing is real. If this helped put words to your experience, like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel exists to help you recognize narcissistic and manipulative patterns calmly, clearly, and without blame, so you can understand what's happening and trust yourself again. And when conversations unfold this way, another pattern often begins to form. In the next video, we're going to explain why you end up explaining yourself in arguments and how that pattern keeps the conversation from resolving. Click here to watch.